Welcome back to another episode of the Bulls Roundtables. Today we are joined by somebody I view as a big brother, which is cool because I got my little brother here, Kurt, with like a full, like a meeting of the minds here, man. But it's Salim from BullsGold here, man. One of the OGs of the community. We're gonna have Mike. We're gonna have Mike coming on. He's actually, yeah, he just texted me. He sent me the outline, so Mike is coming. He said my phone died at the worst time, so he'll be out in a few minutes. But until then, man, Salim, how you doing today, man? Good to see you.
Good, man. Good. Before you get into Gilly, I always want to tell you, you have like the perfect radio voice. And like I thought about it like if you and Ed did a podcast together, like man, you guys would kill it.
We should do an episode together. Ed, so when he comes on.
Yeah, Ed has like I call him the Barry White of Bulls podcasters. Yeah, so both of you guys would kill it together.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that means a lot. Yeah, so I told you. So like today, you were just gonna come help us out with the panel. Shout out to Kevin. He said he had some last minute stuff going on at work. Like we always say, real life always comes first, man. So but we're gonna reschedule with him. But I told you, like I want to do an episode with you and Ed together. So I think maybe July 12th, like we booked, we could have if it works for Ed, we could do that episode too with him.
That'd be cool. I think he said July 12th wasn't great, but like maybe we can figure something else out. Yeah.
Okay.
No, but yeah, man, thank you guys for having me, man. This is
absolutely.
I'm a fan of you guys, and Jordan's been doing his thing on the taking over Bulls HQ Discord for how long now? It's been like
dude, like
3 years.
Yeah, going on 3 years. It's crazy. Mark's back in there now, so order has been restored. Yeah. But it's crazy, man. It is crazy, like how that time just flies. Yeah, it feels like forever ago and like recent at the same time.
Yeah. You're like, there's a lot of divide on Bulls Twitter, but you're like the uniter.
I try, man. I definitely I appreciate that.
I like it.
It's a full-time job. I kind of like have gotten away from it. I was out here, going to war for people and shit, but like now I just feel like something about Stacey's death, man. It just made you realize, like, even trying to unite everybody, nothing's that serious. Like we could have different opinions, but just like at the end of the day, we all on the same team. Like even right now, I see like fans they're upset about whatever, the second round, and we traded out of the second round, or who knows? I don't even know. I try to stay on Twitter as much as possible, but we're all on the same team at the end of the day. But no, I appreciate you, Salim.
Yeah, man. It's just, a difference of opinion, and people get mad about when you give an opinion. Like, I'll say this, like, I know, like, a lot of people will say, like, I hate Josh Giddey. I don't hate Josh Giddey. Like, I just have question marks. I have question marks about Giddey as far as a long-term, like my question marks on Giddey is, do we see Giddey as a playoff player? Like, when you see in the playoffs, could he play defense well enough to stay on the court?
I'm right there with you.
Like, that's my concern.
That's a valid question, and it's okay to have concerns.
Yeah, and like can he play effectively off ball for long stretches? Like that's a question. But yeah, I mean, not to like kind of hijack the conversation, but like there's too much. People get upset and offended too easily.
No, you're not hijacking, man. Absolutely. We're here for you today, Salim. We are here for you. I told you this is full circle, man. Like I can't. It's kind of surreal. Like everything's happening so fast. But like I told you, man, I view you like a big brother. So I'm used to like watching. I remember the days of being like Kurt's in the Discord, watching you in there dropping BullsGold on the daily. You, Lero, Chris, Mark when he was still doing HQ, and even when he did. Started off with CHGO, just watching you guys, like how you guys are doing your pods. And I'll be sitting there like a fly on the wall, just watching and learning, So please, man, by all means, hijack the entire conversation today. We're here for you. Although I will say, Mike, now that he's here, man, Mike's, we want Mike to run he going to steer the ship for us today.
There's no steering the ship, really, man. I'm doing good, man. Everybody steers the ship at the round table, man. So
feel that.
Appreciate
it. We're all captains. We're all captains out here.
Yeah, appreciate you hopping on, Salim. And glad guys to be on today. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so I don't even really know where we begin these days. But obviously the league is going crazy. It's kind of interesting that the Bulls have sort of got their homework done early, so to speak. I think when you kind of see how everything came together, the Claxton deal was definitely a nice piece of work being done so early, and the center market not looking great now. But like I said, don't let me crash the party late. I didn't want to interrupt here. I know we were talking some Giddy talk, my favorite thing to talk about always.
Giddy's so polarizing, man. Yeah,
he's been in the lab.
Polarizing.
You know, he's been in the lab, so he's working on his
Well, we'll throw it back to Salim too, but like I think Salim, honestly, that's a good point because the way I feel here, let me put myself, I got to get better with this producing shit, man. But I think like it's kind of cool watching, like speaking to Giddy, like I feel like we're kind of surrounding him with the players that we need to properly evaluate him now. Because I think like to your point, you know, like about like the questions around him in the playoffs, I think that's where the discourse with him always just gets so, Mike always says like he's one of the most polarizing guys in the league. But so we can't have like too many rational, objective conversations about him. It's like if people think like if you question his game, then you hate him. And vice versa, if you don't hate his game, then you must absolutely love him. It's like, how about I appreciate his strengths and weaknesses, like every player, you know? So like, I think it's very valid to question his defensive impact in the playoffs because we haven't seen it yet. But on the flip, I feel like it's been hard to kind of properly evaluate him because the team has been so poorly constructed for so long. So it's like, of course, if he's already a net negative defensive player, it's going to look worse when the whole team is just ass on defense. So I think I feel like he's always shown the effort. Like I saw a lot of effort from him last year. It's just his body doesn't allow him to keep up sometimes. But I think the way we're building the team out now, it'll truly give us like a good picture of him and you know, allow us to properly evaluate him. But it kind of leads into go ahead. No, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say like how you felt about the draft, but no, like please, we got an hour.
No, yeah. I mean, for me, for Giddy again, so we talked about like getting players that fit around Giddy. I think that becomes a lot of the conversation, and not to say Giddy is a bad player, but I don't think Giddy's good enough where you focus on getting guys that fit with him. Giddy needs to learn to fit with the rest of the roster. Guys. Like we're not like we're not talking about like a Cade Cunningham or a Luka or whatever, right? So to me, it's like, okay, Giddy, how can you evolve your game to become that type of player? And I know like he's a great, like obviously he has his strengths, like great in the transition, getting the ball quick, great. You know, as a passer, he's more of like a finisher. He's not like a advantage creator because his rim pressure is not really there. Like he finishes poorly at the rim, so like you can't be an advantage creator when you don't really have a quick first step and you're not really a threat to finish at the rim. And then also on top of that, like while he shot the ball better, but like the league still doesn't respect his three ball, so they kind of leave him the space to shoot. So yeah, the strengths are there. Obviously, he is a smart player as far as understanding
he's smart as hell.
How to move the ball on offense. Now, defense, again, we talk about that where he needs to be a lot better, more aware on how to hit rotations. There's so many times where he's just kind of standing at like that free throw line restricted area and just kind of aimlessly like moving in circles. Is like we've seen that so many times. And so I just think to me Josh Giddey is someone that he needs to figure out how to be someone that Bryson Graham can be like, okay, I can have you fit in with what I'm trying to build here. So and the number one thing, to be honest, is like the guys what we need to evaluate if they can be like the 1, 2, 3 on a title team. Obviously, Caleb Wilson, we just drafted. Modest, Buzelis, again, potential is there, but Modest still hasn't proven that he can be a top 3 player on a title team, right? We like what we've seen so far. The development has been solid, but we need to see more in year 3. And I'm also a big fan of Dalen Swain. Great. I thought that was a great pick at 15. And I definitely want to talk more about him as far as what his skill sets are. But yeah, like the roster construction is basically right now, we don't have the guy yet. We have the potential of the thought of the guy, and especially with Caleb Wilson, the thought that he can be that guy, but there's no one there yet. So that's what Bryson Graham has to figure out to get that guy, and how we can develop Caleb Wilson to be that guy. And then if he is that guy, getting guys that fit around Caleb Wilson, not the other way around, you know?
I feel that. What I will say, and then Kurt, I want you to, chip in real quick. But like, what I will say, like, that I love about Giddey though, I love the kid, like low key, because I feel like he's one of those really coachable kids. Like that's for me, it's. I know people like want to see like the results now, but for me, I see so much potential in him just as like a human, and like with him being a point guard, it's like the perfect kind of point guard that you want for this team right now, because I feel like he's one of those guys that leads by example by being coachable. So I feel like if we now having Thiago here, and if our whole culture shifts to being more defensive minded, to busting our ass more, I think Giddey will buy in, because like I said, man, like that's one of the things I do like about him, is that the effort is there, you know. Whereas like it's one of those times where like the athletic capabilities might not be there, but like he tries, and like I always got to respect that. I know like when I was younger, like we're talking about Discord back in the day, like when I was Kurtz's age, I would have hated Giddey. You know, like, man, I wasn't trying to see I don't care about your basketball IQ. I just want to see a bunch of thrashers out there, some athletic demons. So I would have hated Giddey, you know, like 5 years ago. But like now that I'm older, man, like I just really appreciate like his maturity for his age. Because what is he? Is Giddey what, 23?
23,
he's young.
24, something like that.
He's still young. Yeah. A lot of developing left for sure.
Yeah. So I just look forward to. And I feel like, to your point, you know, like we might have that potential star in a Caleb Wilson. We got to see what we have from Modest. And I feel like Giddey, again, is just one of those dudes that he's going to accentuate their growth, because like his entire game is feeding them. You know, I think the optimized Giddey, you don't want him scoring 20 points. I want to see Giddey averaging, like, if your team's constructed properly, he should be averaging like 15 points, 10 points. But I want to see like 15 assists, you know, like over 10 assists, because he should be setting dudes up constantly. So, I just feel like he's a good point guard to have in this era right now while we're still developing.
15 assists. You're on that Jim Boylan timing right now.
Hey, you better punch in and punch out,
punch
man.
Clock, man. Where's the punch clock? No.
I guess bulls across the chest.
Guilty just said low key that he used to be a slap guy.
Mm-hmm. You know it, Salim. You know. You got no. I used to be in there fucking going hard, dude. Like I remember the days of. I'll never forget like thinking I need to calm down, because it was like I was really mad at Laurie. I thought Laurie Markkinen was fucking soft. Oh man, he used to piss me off real good, Kurtz. I was like your age. I was fucking pissed. And I remember telling Lero, I was like, man, I fucking can't stand Laurie. Like, and it was when Jeremy Grant was on the Thunder still. So I was seeing like, why can't like I'd rather have a dude like Jeremy Grant instead of Laurie, because at least like Jeremy Grant goes hard. And it was like in all caps, a bunch of exclamation points. And Lero was just like, man, relax, LOL. I'll never forget. And that was one of the first times I was like, I think I do need to relax. And and then Laurie went on to have a good career. But yeah, I definitely was very much slap centric back in the day. We chilling now. We chilling. We drink wine now and shit.
We drink wine now.
Yeah, we coolin', man.
I will say what's so interesting with Giddey to me, and I think it's like just like pretty simple. I think on paper, he clearly, or at least statistic wise, you know, just what he's done the past few seasons, Giddey's been the best player on the Bulls, or at least close to that. I don't think, you know, it'd be a crazy debate. And so because of that, I think the general Bulls fan, the discourse is, okay, I'm trading Josh Giddey. I'm getting back a first-round pick, 2 first-round picks. I'm getting back a good player, these type of things. And I see Luke react. Exactly. It's like, oh, I don't know if around the league you're getting that much for Josh Giddey. No. But then conversely, you'll have some people, like some very smart people I know on Twitter. I think Kev Couchside, who we were talking about, had a tweet that I saw kind of get some traction where he talked about, I think, trading Giddey with to get rid of Patrick Williams' contract to Sacramento, with the Bulls getting back LaVine and DeRozan and like some first round picks, and essentially buying out LaVine and DeRozan. So the Bulls basically trading Giddey to just get picks from Sacramento and then dumping a bunch of players. So essentially you're talking about a salary dump of Giddey to get some picks back. And I get where he's going from. If you're getting 2 unprotected firsts from Sacramento, that's not crazy to me. But then I think the truth is Giddey's value is somewhere in the middle. So you have the Bulls fans who think you should be getting surplus of assets for Giddey, and then you have the Bulls fans who think you should be dumping assets to kind of get rid of Giddey. So I think the truth is his value lies somewhere in the middle. And the most interesting thing about it, for how young he is, he's very aware of like his strengths and weaknesses as a player. I don't think Josh Giddey thinks he's going to be the best player on a title team. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean he is very realistic. He's like, I'm going to help this team by doing the things I'm good at, which is shooting threes, surprisingly these days, on open catch and shoots, passing the ball at a high level, and rebounding at a high level. I think he's pretty honest about the fact development obviously happens, but you can only be so much of who you are. Giddey's not going to be a good defender in his career. That's okay. He's going to crash the glass and try to contribute there. But I think just what's so interesting is I don't think he's paid like a superstar either. So with his contract. So everything to me says Josh Giddey is a good player who's going to help your team. And so you don't need to build around him. You know, he's going to be a piece of your team. But I think the perception is a little off. So I love what Salim said, because Caleb Wilson, Matas Buzelis, Dalen Swain, those are your core guys who are going to be running pick and rolls, having the ball. And Josh Giddey is going to be a pretty good complementary player. So I think everything the Bulls have been doing has been trending in that direction. But I do want to ask Salim in general. Bryson Graham, I'm feeling a lot of the AK feeling right now. We're like, not like Bryson Graham reminds me of AK, but I remember how positive Bulls fans were when AK came in. They were just thrilled to have change, something different. And finally, I want to give Bulls fans some credit, because I am starting to see some little pushback on things that Bryson Graham is doing or have been rumored to do. So Salim, I just wanted your opinion of sort of, how do you feel about Graham's tenure so far, just in terms of, I think a lot of people are starting to get upset that the Bulls traded the 2 second-round picks for 2 second-round pick swaps and Cam Jones, and then Cam Jones was waived today. So clearly that move was just kind of, Graham didn't like the second round this year, kind of punted on it, which feels like a same old Bulls type move. And then Norman Powell is the big rumor that's been going around, that the Bulls looking to add some veteran shooting. One-time All-Star Norman Powell last year, that they want to give him maybe a sizable deal that'll be short-term where he gets a nice payday, but isn't on the books for a long time. And a lot of fans aren't really into that, because they're like, this is the guy taking minutes away from young players. This isn't the type of guy you need. I think it's a bit of an overreaction, because you have to spend the money somewhere, and he is a good shooter. But I just wanted, based off of Salim, everything you've seen with Bryson Graham, just what's your general like feel of him? Because I know he hasn't done a lot yet, but are you feeling positive, or are you kind of sort of not into everything you're hearing at this time?
I'm just still waiting to see. Like the first round draft, I love what he did. Obviously, Caleb Wilson was the obvious no-brainer pick, because he was in a tier of his own, in that he wasn't in that top 3 like all-time elite prospect level. But then after him, there was like a big gap, right? As far as just talent, prospect potential concerned. So that was obviously an easy pick to make. I loved what he did with Dalen Swain, because you see the overall skill set he has. I think people always focus on, he can't shoot. But then you ignore the other things that he can do that already translate, and he could already do in the NBA, especially when you can create off ball, not only for yourself, but for your teammates. That's a valuable skill to have in the NBA. We've also seen him as a good defensive player potentially in the league, because he has the tools to be that as well. And then obviously great rim pressure. He gets to the rim, and he finishes at an elite level. He did it in college. So you see that, and then the swing skill is, if his shooting does continue to improve, like that 3 ball, there is star potential there.
Absolutely, 100%.
So that, I love the first round. The Nick Claxton trade, I'm not sure if it's official yet. I don't know. Maybe there's some other stuff going on. I did not see if it was like official. And obviously Shams reported it like way prematurely. But I thought that trade was fine, in that doing more like, when we saw we got Claxton, I was like, how did we get him for free? Like, what's going on? Like, basically, like, they just gave him to us. So I was like a little weary. I was like, why? Why? What's going on? And then I kind of did a little bit of research, and I was like, a lot of people that watched Brooklyn play because nobody watches Brooklyn. Like to be like fair, no one's going
understandably
games. Yeah, understandably. Just so to be fair, most people around the league weren't watching the Bulls either.
That's right? No, 100%.
That's why nobody knew Iowa was good and Kobe could be a good player for a playoff team. You know,
100%.
So turns out like Nick Claxton last 2 years has not been good.
I keep hearing that.
Right.
The back injury, like he had a back injury, and it seems like it's been it's like 2024 November. I had looked something up, and he had like some back issues then, and wondering if that has lingered, and who knows where he's at with that. If he's still that same issues with as far as struggling to play on a back that's not 100%. If that's who he is, then probably not the best trade. Like, especially since you took that contract without getting any assets in return, like a second round pick or two. But if he does bounce back and looks like even a halfway to the player that he was, it's a good trade because you got a starting center who maybe isn't a DPYO type of player anymore, but can still be a solid starting center in the league. So that's still wait and see as far as what happens there. And again, we got to see the official deal as well and see if there's anything else, any other moving parts involved there. And then the second round, the selling of the picks, that's an ownership thing. I think his reasoning for it was basically, in hindsight, not even hindsight technically needed. Like the fact that they just waived Cam Jones, they didn't even like keep him. Tells you that it was just a BS answer he gave to basically cover for ownership. Reinsdorfs have done this no matter what. If Sam Presti was the front office executive, they would have sold these second rounders for cash because that's what the Reinsdorfs want to do, especially in a rebuild where they're not going to be able to get that extra revenue for playoffs or the play-in. They want to find ways to get cash, for one reason or another. That's what they do, right? So I would have loved to see Bryson Graham, who's considered a really great scout, an eye for talent, be able to draft in that second round. He said he didn't like anyone there again, but I don't really believe that. I think, again, it's an excuse that he's making to cover for the front office. I do like some of the second, like the two-way guys he signed. He was quick to get those in.
Yeah.
He didn't wait. Like in the past, we've seen with AK and even Pax and Gar, they waited like till like the end of that free agency was concerned for the undrafted free agents to sign those guys. So, but he hit it pretty quick, and some of these guys look like they could play. I think the guard that they signed looks like he could probably be in the rotation.
Sellers is tough.
Yeah, nice. He'll probably be in the rotation next year. I mean, for this team, look at there's not a lot of talent here, and he could probably come in and play not every day, just because I think the two-way deals are like you have to be like
you can only play like X number of games. Yeah.
Right. So I can see potentially him being able to play next season, but yeah, I think it's still. I don't know what's going to happen here. I would like to see him try to get more picks and stuff like that for the cap space that's left. The Norman Powell one, I'm not excited about, to be honest. I'm not gonna be like mad, but it's also like not really like inspiring for me. I would have preferred him if you wanted to get shooting like Isaiah Joe when the Thunder were trying to trade him. I would have preferred.
I wonder why we did that.
It could just be about like the type of picks, like like how high, because so many teams are owning other teams' picks now. I'd have to look back. It could just be those are like pretty good seconds, possibly. But I did want to ask on that. So Norm Powell, obviously, he's coming off of an All-Star season, and again, we can put All-Star in quotes or whatever. I mean, we know Norman Powell's a good player, but he just had a good year in a kind of weird East. But what I would pose in this question for all you guys, really, but let's just say if out of this cap space, I think it's 30 or so mil. If the option here is to kind of just roll out this entire young squad and give Norm Powell a nice payday of like $30 million for 1 year, that's it. Is that something you guys are okay with, or would you prefer, this isn't an option anymore, but like Tim Hardaway Jr., and again, that's more of maybe a title chasing move too, but he signed with Miami for 6.5 mil, which again, I'm like, okay, that's interesting when you're thinking of Tim Hardaway at 6.5 mil versus Norman Powell at, let's just say, 25 mil or so. But it comes down to that. Of course, people always like to pay, less money for whatever type of player you're getting. Norman Powell is much better than Tim Hardaway Jr. So I am just curious with you guys, like, are you okay with Bryson kind of spending this remaining cap space all on one vet that he thinks really adds a skill that they need? Or would you prefer if he spreads that money up in between like a couple different veteran guys, even if these guys all aren't even making the rotation? Like, would you just prefer to see multiple players? Because I feel like a lot of people with the Norm thing is they're hung up on one, the amount of money, even if it's not going to be a long-term deal. And then two, the opportunity cost, which I won't address that because, I mean, there's going to be enough minutes. Norm Powell isn't stopping Caleb Wilson from playing basketball. Yeah. That's not an issue. But I'm just curious, when it comes to the type of players out there, would you guys be okay with paying Norm a big 1 or 2 year deal? Would you just prefer to spread that out, even if you're getting kind of lesser talent there?
I'll hop in here. I think, if you look at the Bulls' current roster, right, you already have a lot of your potential rotation spots filled. So you're not exactly like trying to fill 5 spots in your rotation right now. You already got a bunch of young players you're looking to evaluate. And I think with this being Bryson Graham and Tiago Splitter's first year, it becomes an evaluation year for everybody on the roster, even if they're under contract for a long-term time. So they might already think, okay, we've got a decent number of guys we want to look at. And Norman Powell brings something that we're missing, which is an elite shooter and a veteran presence. And Norman Powell is also, he differs from a guy like Tim Hardaway because Norman Powell has been an all-star. Like, even if you were saying like, oh, he's a one-time all-star, he was an all-star last year. And I think the year before with the Clippers, he was one of like the best. He was putting up 24 a game. Like, this is a guy who's been like one of the go-to scoring options on a playoff team or on a good team, for back-to-back years now. So it kind of gives a little bit of a different perspective in terms of veteran leadership than a guy like Tim Hardaway, who's constantly been in a role versus being the guy. So I like the spacing that Norman Powell would bring. And I like the fact that Bryson Graham we don't really need him to spread it out over multiple players because we already have so many of these slots filled for minutes. So I don't mind him spending it all in one place, but I also don't think it's going to be as expensive as people think.
Well said.
Salim?
Yeah, I prefer to see him use that cap space to take contracts and get picks. Like, again, veterans that could probably come in and provide something to the team. I wouldn't mind doing like the Christian Braun to help the Nuggets clear up that space, and maybe you can get like a couple of, I don't know, you can probably get like a couple of draft picks or something, like maybe a couple of swaps. I don't know. I feel like I was looking at the with the new lottery rules, like the first round swaps right now, I think are a little more valuable with these new rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like maybe you can get a couple of first round swaps for him, or just maybe one of the picks outright and then the other one's a swap. So he's like,
does the length of Braun's contract kind of worry you a little bit? Because it's 5 years starting this upcoming season.
I feel like he could probably like up his value on the Bulls, being able to get a little more, freedom and opportunity. The length of the contract, and that's why I would say like I would want multiple picks. I can't just take like one pick or like a second rounder or something like that. Right. I would like consider that. And then again, like the length of the contract is like worrisome, but at the same time, it's like, are the Bulls going to be? Is that contract going to be a huge hindrance for the Bulls moving forward? When are the Bulls going to be a contending team again? I'm not sure. So yeah, I mean stuff like that. But obviously that's just one idea. But other ideas is again like looking around the league. Like the Cavs need to shed players. Thunder are still looking to shed players. Like I would like Topic and
Sorber.
Sorber. Yeah, I would love to just give me those
that'd
guys.
be nice.
Just straight up give me those
That'd
guys,
be nice.
right? I think it was another team or two, like I think the Blazers probably have to move someone. But there's teams out there, like I said, that have cap issues, that are paying a lot of tax, that need to move out guys. I think Max Strus was brought up. I would love to take on Strus. He actually fills a need. He could be a good player for as far as what he provides to the Bulls, and then maybe you can get something for him, like a second rounder, to help them shed that salary. But yeah, stuff like that I would like to see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a big fan of them just going out and spending that money on like Norman Powell and then just kind of being done.
Now, obviously, we have no time machine, but I think Will Gottlieb, I won't put words in his mouth, but I think he himself kind of hinted at this. But if we go back, interestingly enough, you kind of rewind to when the Bulls did the Claxton trade, looking at Brooklyn's side of that deal, where they get the 28th pick in the draft for taking back Julius Randle's contract, I do wonder, in the vacuum for Bulls fans, would they have preferred the Bulls being that team to get the 28th pick to take back Julius Randle? Or would they prefer to be where we are now, where the Bulls gave up essentially nothing to take in Claxton's salary, where, again, Claxton may or not work out. But I do think that's an interesting sort of question there, because I'm firmly in the camp where I'm fine with Claxton. I think last year, something that wasn't talked about a lot with Claxton, and again, that kind of goes back to people not watching the Nets, he did put up a career high in assists last year. I think it was 3.7 assists per game. Almost 4 assists a game is nothing to sneeze at for a guy who's pretty much supposed to be a defense rim running guy. So I do think with Tiago Splitter, especially a big man who is pretty good at passing himself, working with him, it's going to be interesting to see if Claxton can maybe accentuate his game as a playmaker and do some stuff we're not used to him seeing. So I don't hate the gamble there. I for sure rather have Claxton for nothing than Eden Randall's contract for the 28th pick. But I just wanted to see how you guys feel about that, because there's no right or wrong answers in this stuff. I just don't want to watch Julius Randle on the team I'm watching a lot. No disrespect to Julius. But depending on what Bryson Graham could have did with that 28th pick, it's kind of tough to say I wouldn't have liked that as well. So I am curious, if we could go back in time, would you guys have preferred if the Bulls kind of ate that Randle contract for the 28th pick like Brooklyn got there?
Yeah, for me, no, just because I think Julius Randle would be kind of a disgruntled player, and a vet who wants to be on a playoff team. I'm not sure if I want him in that locker room.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what I look at it as, and I don't know if that pick would have been nice for sure, but I'm fine with doing what he did with Nick Claxton. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Reese kind of said in the comments. It's definitely not a one-to-one comparison, but it is one of those things I think about, because taking on bad contracts for picks, I've been a fan of that. I'm in that position, but that's like kind of before you get Caleb Wilson and Swain in the building, where I'm like, I really do understand that, people look at everything, I think, especially with trades, through the lens of 2K, and these are human beings, and kind of like you guys said with Randall. He has to maybe move his family across the country again to Chicago, and maybe he doesn't want to be in Chicago, and maybe he's not interested in teaching Swain, the right way to practice. So it is one of those things where it's not always that simple. I will say I am always a fan of when you can do that type of deal and you're really up in the talent level and risk profile, comparable to what Portland just did, getting Ja Morant, Washington receiving Trae Young. Yeah, so I did want to ask you guys, as Luke just said, for nothing. With these new lottery rules, I'm not as concerned. Like, I've flipped my entire thing. I don't care about tanking. What's literally the point anymore? Build your team, try to evaluate your young talent, see where the chips fall. So with that being said, if the Bulls were to hop in on one of these big names, like Bulls are interested in trading for Jaylen Brown, something like that, is that something where you guys are even, like, your interest has peaked a little bit, or are you just completely out on, let's call it, advancing the timeline, I guess?
No. Yeah, I gotta be honest. You gotta start. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I gotta be honest. I mean, the guy that I would have done it for got traded to Portland today, or yesterday. I think Ja, just because he was dirt cheap, you really didn't have to give up much to get him. He's like 3 years younger than Jaylen Brown, too. Kind of fits the Bulls' timeline a little better. That would have been the move I made, because you probably could have done it. Like, the Blazers gave up Jeremy Grant, Chris Murray. Like,
that was it. That was the deal. Yeah.
You might have been able to get off of Pat for that. Like you might have been able to do that. Like I'm just saying, like I would have
damn near
considered that. Like
no, yeah, when you
Bryson he got to be cooking something up, man. Something's cooking. He seems too smart so far for like, you know what I mean, for these moves that have happened where you're kind of like, how the hell did we not do that? That lets me know maybe I'm just optimistic, but I just feel like that man, they're cooking something for sure.
I don't think you're being optimistic. I think he's like the complaints people have about the moves Bryson's made to me don't really hold a lot of weight. Like, let's start with the Claxton things. That's the first thing he did. Like, yes, Claxton's been playing not great for the past couple of seasons, but the Nets around him have been awful for the past couple of seasons.
Exactly.
And his type of center is a guy that, like, he needs to be fed the ball to play well offensively. He's not really creating his own offense. And then defensively, if your team is not competing or good on defense, you're going to give less effort every night. Like Claxton's best years came when they were rolling out Kevin Durant, Kyrie, James Harden. Like, so he's one of those guys. So that's the first move. But also his contract, there's only 2 years left. It's like $22 million a year or something like that. It's going to be easy to get off of if it doesn't work out. So like that was a smart move for me. And then I see a lot of people complaining about the second round pick thing. I think a lot of people misunderstand what second round picks are usually used for. It's become somewhat of the second round is for agents. I think that's what Reese likes to say. And he's not wrong because a lot of these guys in the second round, it's a lot of service between team and agent. It's literally what we did last year when we drafted Ulbrich in the second round.
I didn't want to. I thought you weren't going to say his name. Fuck.
But that was a favor to Josh Giddey's agent. That's what that was. Lachlan Ulbrich was not a second round talent. That guy should have been an undrafted free agent. But also, to Salim's point, Bryson was in on the undrafted market instantly. He had guys that he wanted immediately. I think those guys are essentially his second round picks that he's trying out. And you got cash in return for the 2 picks you didn't make, but you kept your margin spots open towards the end of the rotation. You can always fill those later on in the offseason. Fill the spots of the guys that you're certain are going to play first, and then go get the margin guys afterwards. So I think Bryson is a smart dude. I think he's operating at a really high level so far, and it's hard to have any complaints about what he's doing, even if it does seem like same old Bulls, same old Bulls. Sorry if that was long-winded, man.
Man, fuck that. You spitting, man. You spitting. And like for me with Claxton, like I feel like again, even if he's not, like Salim said at the start of the show, you know, even if he's half of who he's been, that's still miles ahead of anything we've had at that position in God knows how long. I've got no complaints, man. I've been watching Nikola Vucevic for what, 6 years, 5 years? Dog. It's been some of them nights, man, where you just want to gouge your fucking eyes out, you know. So it's a breath of fresh air just knowing that the center that we have now is a rim runner. He's athletic. He's a rim protector, you know. And to Kurtz's point, you know, like he's got guys around him now who are defensive hounds as well. Modest Buzelis is known as a weak side helper. He's not the greatest on ball. He gets caught off ball, but if there's one thing he's shown is chase down blocks and being a good help side defender. That's where he shines, you know. And now you got Caleb. Come on, man, a defensive anchor. So you talking about Claxton is now surrounded by guys who get after it. And I think it's exactly what he needs to like be reinvigorated himself. Again, we talk about Brooklyn as a career killer, Sacramento, those are career killing cities. You come into Chicago now, I think it's just going to juice him up. And I think if I'm Claxton, again, if you hear how people are talking about you, and you've gone from just being this talented guy to now people are looking at you like, you know, they're questioning why a team would even take you, or they're like, well, he got thrown in for next nothing for a reason. If I'm Claxton, that puts a chip on my shoulder. You know, and like Kurt said, it's only, 2 years, 22. It's just like Giddey for me. Like, he's not getting paid that much. He's damn near going to outperform that contract. So, I think it was a really good move, in my opinion.
And I always like to say beggars can't be choosers. And when I say that with the Bulls, I'm talking about the fans because, like, obviously with people who write about the team, people who cover the team, my guy Ricky O'Donnell, who's been on the pod before, he was one of the foremost voices, Ricky, kind of complaining about the same old Bulls with the selling the 2 draft picks. And the thing is, when you're writing, covering the team, content creating, whatever, and you're Bulls all the time, you're allowed to acknowledge what's going on. You're allowed to complain. You're not allowed to not like his move, to like the move, so it's fine.
Because you got to cover it.
Exactly. You got to break it down. But what I will say is when you're watching all of these games, Guilty pointed out something that I said on Twitter that got a little bit of traction, which is we've been watching Nikola Vucevic protect them. And if you want to get more more recent, when I was in some games in person last year, I'm not going to be as mean as I was just about to be, but
please do.
Nick Richards, solid player.
Let him have it.
Has some weaknesses, has some troubles, especially offensively. Nick Richards is actually a solid player who I hope, again, is going to be on the Bulls and, continues to be there. I would prefer Claxton, and I think most people, if you give them truth serum, they're going to tell you that. So, again, it's like, could you have got a better center than Claxton? Yeah, but as Bobby Marks says today, Jalen Duren, we're talking about him meeting with like 17 teams. We're talking about Walker Kessler being mad, I think, of being offered like 30 mil or something. These guys are not cheap anymore. So getting
they're
Claxton,
not that good.
Yeah, and you're getting Claxton from Mo Gay, essentially. The Bulls sent out Mo Gay. So if it doesn't work out, man, let Claxton
not even the good one.
2 seasons. Actually, and I love how that had to be clarified. People are like, "Whoa, Mo Gay was on the Bulls." Like, no,
there's two. There's two in the league.
There's another guy
has a good
one. Scouted.
I don't even think I knew that there was two of them.
I didn't know that either.
I was just like, oh, all right.
I need the Moge spectrum where we had the bad one, Atlanta has the good one. We need a mediocre one, so then we can do like, where are you on the Moge spectrum? This player, this guy's all on the good side.
Bryson Graham collecting the Moge Infinity Stones out here, man.
I didn't even know that there was multiple ones. I mean, that's funny as hell. We have Bizarro Gay in here.
One question I do want to ask you guys that really hasn't been talked about. Leonard Miller, they picked up his option. I would have been interested to see if they could have just extended him to like a small deal. Like, I don't know, there was not a lot of conversation. I don't know if maybe that was his agents like, no, we don't want to do an extension. Or could they have approached him? It's like, hey, we'll give you a 3-year, I don't know, like 30 million or like something like that. And
that's actually, that's a great point. I think there are like just three quick sides to it. I think the first one is they just wanted to lock him in, at a low number. It's just like good asset, locked in, low number. I think the second thing is Bryson Graham, I think, is a very intense evaluator. That clip that's been circulating about, I think, Sean Miller, who's the coach at Texas, used to coach Swain at Xavier. Exactly. Yeah. Talking about Graham keeping tabs on Swain before he got to Texas. So freshman, essentially his entire college career, he's been scouting this kid. So when I hear that type of commitment to Bryson Graham's scouting, I think he's been looking at Leonard Miller maybe since the G League, and he's not sold on Leonard Miller. So he's like, I know AK loved him. I know AK wanted to re-sign this guy. I'm not AK. I need to see him on my team, and then I'll decide if I think he needs to be extended. But the real one that I think people aren't talking about, just because, we don't know Bryson Graham's mind yet with wanting to trade guys who are already here. I think when you lock in Miller at that low of a number, he becomes very interesting to contenders if he plays as well as we saw him down the stretch last season, because now you're talking about trading Leonard Miller maybe for a first-round pick from a great team, where, again, it might be a pick in it might be literally the 30th pick in the first round. But if you can get that for Leonard Miller, might prefer that as opposed to locking him in long term. So I think Graham was really looking at it like, I know we could commit to him and get him at a bigger number, but right now, if we just give him this team option, we can play it out. And if this kid's just balling out of control, then I got Leonard Miller for a small number. He's playing great. Now we can rework that deal or, again, flip him for an asset. So I think it's one of those things with the Bulls having so many forwards already. You don't want to kind of blow the gun and commit to Miller, and then Matas is coming up, soon for a big deal, and it gets ahead.
I think I'll say this. I'm not the most refined when it comes to the CBA, but
I don't think anybody is. If that makes you feel any
there are people. I know, like the Podfather, Doug Tonis. He's a big CBA guy. There are people out there. I know Will Gottlieb also knows a lot about the CBA. Our guy Chris Amundsen, great. He knows the CBA to a degree, and I want to say with Leonard Miller, him being on that 1-year deal essentially, I think there would be troubles trading him because I think at that point he might have an option of like vetoing a trade because it's that 1 year.
Yeah, right. It may be a built-in no trade clause.
Rights. Yeah, he would. It's a CBA that gives him. It's not like a Bulls gave him a no trade clause. CBA gives him because then he would probably have to give up his bird rights.
Yeah.
I think I may not 100% be correct on that. Just to be clear, but I think that might be it. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you extend him to a team-friendly deal, that's when it becomes a better tradable contract if he goes in and plays well. So, like, it's like a risk. Like, maybe you do a 3-year deal with, like, 2 years guaranteed, 30-year team option. And, again, I'm just spitballing here because we don't really know the full story on maybe his agent was like, no, I don't want an extension right now. I want him to kind of bet on himself on this team that's not going to have a lot of players ahead of him per se. He may get an opportunity to play big minutes all season, and then next offseason he can cash in when he plays well. But again, so that's my thought process was. I don't really know as far as what the thought process is there is for his agent and for the Bulls. And maybe we could still see an extension being done. It's not like it's been off the table fully.
Yeah, if I had to guess, Miller's. Oh, go ahead, Luke.
I would say I like what both of you guys are saying. I think both of your points are very valid and they make sense. But I just think when you look at Leonard Miller, like we got him in the IO deal. He played well for us late down the stretch. But he really, I don't think he's a player. Like he played his ass off and he played well. But if you look at our team now, you got all those forwards who are going to need to play. And it's kind of clear to me, at least, that Leonard Miller is very much he's a margins player. He's going to be one of those guys who fills out your 11th to 13th spots probably. I don't personally view him as a guy who's going to be heavily involved in a rotation, like personally. And I think if you look at a past situation where the Bulls had a player in that situation was actually Io when we got him for really cheap and we extended him after that first year. But Io was like going to be in the rotation moving forward when we made that deal. When we extended him for cheap, he was going to be playing. And I think it makes sense to do that if you have a guy that you know you're going to commit to playing him. And it's similar to what the Boston Celtics just did with Ron Harper Jr. I think they just locked him into a similar deal too. But if you're not going to play a guy, there's no reason to lock or extend him long-term, even at small money, just because you're taking up a roster spot that you might want to have open for the future. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know.
Well, I was just going to say the one more thing I was going to say on it is another thing is obviously if you restructure and, you sign him to a longer deal, you are affecting the open cap space. And if Graham's plan is to throw an overpaid big deal out at a Norman Powell or someone like that, obviously that kind of eats into your plans with that if you sort of restructure and sign Leonard Miller. But I just wanted to mention him because I'm always going to find an excuse to mention my guy. Noah Asingbe also stands as like, it's not like, oh, let me not do something with Leonard Miller. We got Noah Asingbe. But in all seriousness, if Graham wants to evaluate this kid, if he had him on his draft board and was like, man, it actually is interesting that Chicago has him. I wonder what he looks like. There does become a point to, as Luke said, you can only play so many guys. I love positionless basketballs. So if you hear this from me, you know it's serious. You can't just play all 6'10" forwards. You will need some optionality, some ball handling, some playmaking. So it becomes one of those things where if you are going to try to give Asingbe any sort of NBA chance, and maybe they don't this year, but if they even want to play Noah Asingbe 10 minutes a game, the equation becomes pretty tough when you talk about Caleb playing a lot, Matas playing a lot, Swain playing a lot, Leonard Miller playing some. So it gets to a point where you're like, man, we're really getting jammed up on those spots. And then, like Luke said, if you get to a point where Asingbe, let's just say, again, my dream comes true.
Might be good.
Asingbe's balling out of the gate 12 and 12 every night or something.
Slap guy. Slap guy right there.
Exactly. And Leonard Miller's your 11th man, not playing most nights. If you locked him into that deal right before Asingbe breaks out, now you're kind of stuck with Leonard Miller at $10 million. So I think Bryson Graham's kind of slow playing it, even though people are saying the opposite. And I would agree with Matt Peck. He is hashtag not a bust. Not a bust.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Shout out to Matt Peck, one of the greatest Bulls podcasters,
the greatest
super fans, everything concerned. He's one of the GOATs out there. I'll love that.
And we did hear, Matt, that Noah grew this year. Last I heard, he's 7'5", the biggest player in the NBA.
He's actually the next Victor Wembanyama too. So we have our own, little
Sacramento. We got Wemby at home, huh?
We got Wemby at home. So
yeah, Wemby. As far as Noah's concerned, it was interesting to see the answer that Splitter gave, Thiago Splitter gave, and I know people like clowned him and or like saying, "Oh, he was clowning on Noah," and like I just think he was giving an honest answer. Like Noah has a lot to prove.
What was he supposed to say?
There's a complete, blank slate at this point. I'm wondering if he really has grown, could he fill out and like maybe get a little stronger, and maybe can he be a center?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I
situationally.
I don't know where his position truly would be. We got Wemby at home. That's awesome.
I think he's not going to be ever a full time, but if he like bulks up a little, fills out normally.
Yeah,
I never go too hard. I said some names that I think people were like, "What the hell? Why would you say this guy?" I was like a Jackson Hayes type, maybe. Again, I'm trying to be realistic. A guy where Jackson Hayes isn't some big bulking burly center, but he's a guy who's athletic and run up down the court really fast, block shots, get you some dunks. So it's one of those things where I think Noah will have that optionality, and that's why I really would like to see him get some consistent roles as opposed to my guy Billy Donovan, who I only had one issue with, was when he threw Noah in there against, I think, Zion and watched him get crushed for 5 minutes and then yanked him. Like, let's not do that. Like, just either leave him in the G League and let him develop, or play him in the NBA. So I think Splitter and the team will have a little bit better of a message. But I did want to ask Salim real quick, because we talked about free agents, but we still obviously got the money. Norm Powell isn't a Bull yet, unless we missed anything. Are there any guys that you have on your radar, just names in general, where you're like, oh man, I really do hope like maybe they sign this guy? Because for me, Duke bias, obviously I'm going to mention him. Gary Trent Jr. Is a guy where knockdown 3-point shooter. And I think for the people who are complaining about Powell, I think you're definitely going to get Gary Trent at a much lower price point. So I was just curious if there are any guys out there you're still thinking that maybe you would like the Bulls to try to take a swing at. Jock Landale, very randomly, the Melbourne man himself, is someone I've been hearing mentioned as coming to the Bulls. And again, I don't really care too much about Jock Landale, but he is a center that knocks down threes at a surprisingly high clip. So I would not hate him as just like an off the bench piece as well.
I think a couple of guys I like the Raptors, the center that they have,
Mamu.
I think he's already extended or signed with somebody. I can't remember who exactly. Did he? But I think so. I thought I saw a room something where he's not.
Yeah, I would have to check. He had a hot market. I know he had a really big market.
Yeah. Good. First wrote a piece on him today.
Let me take a look. I thought I saw something that.
But we're on the same page there.
To get him. I think the Lakers were expected to get him, but.
That's
what Windhorst reported that. So
that's not a bad move.
Yeah, and I mean, I know it's not the fit would be weird just because again we're stacked at the position. So I don't know if you're not going to like trade for take contracts for picks or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe go make an hard offer for Peyton Watson and force the Nuggets to, if they're not able to offload any of those contracts, maybe they lose them. I would, and again, I know people will be like the money. Well, I would be comfortable paying him $30 million. He's a good two-way player. He's 23 years old. He's not. I don't think that contract is going to be a bad contract to move later.
Offensive game this year looked good.
Yeah. So I think he would be worth it if you can steal him from them. But that's stuff like that I would think of as far as the guys that could go after.
Now, I'm prepared for I think it was Sleeper Bulls or whoever it is. I called myself dunking on them on Twitter. I definitely expect them to throw this shit back in my face if this happens. But I did want to ask you, Anthony Simons, they had him in a projected starting lineup, and I think I said something like, there's no chance in hell this will be the starting lineup. And it was probably what the starting lineup will be, but just with Anthony Simons. And I was like, what? Now, very funny enough, as I do putting my foot in my mouth from time to time, it does seem like Simons coming back to the Bulls is possible depending on how the market shakes out. So I did just want to ask, no one really talks about the guys who are free agents on the Bulls because there are so many moving parts, but I'll mention Colin Sexton as well. Is there any world where you guys would be comfortable or interested in bringing back Simons or Sexton? Because those are the two guys where you need shooters, you need scorers, you need floor spacing. Theoretically, they do that. If they don't have much of a market, would you maybe want to retain those guys as opposed to bringing in a Norman Powell or another sort of more veteran shooter?
Well, you can't retain them because you would have to waive them to clear up the cap space for the team. So, right now, the Bulls technically don't have cap space to take on Claxton because of those big cap holds. So, once you clear them off, basically you using then cap space to re-sign them. So, I mean, Simon might be, because again, the Bulls will need that position filled. So maybe you can bring him back on a cheap contract if nothing else is working out. I wouldn't do Colin Sexton. I just don't see the point.
It's fair.
I prefer to go in a different direction for that, if that's concerned.
I said that Stein did report that we are considering Simon's fuck.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, that's honestly one of the first places I saw it.
I'm not a fan of it, or I'm not, but I mean, I don't know where else you can do. Like,
I'm bummed. My guy that I really wanted was Keon Ellis because he's a career 40% 3-point shooter. He's 26,
great at defense,
and he's really good at defense. And I thought he would have fit, but he literally just signed a 2-year deal with the Nets as we speak.
With the Nets, interesting.
I have a completed drafted article that I was going to put out tomorrow on him. Throw that in the trash.
Damn,
the worst. Oh, but
I'll save it. Something else Stein mentioned, and that same thing. I think I was writing something on it. I'm kind of going to wait because, again, stuff is happening so fast. But along with the Simon stuff, very randomly, Jonathan Kuminga, after the Hawks didn't work out stuff with him, it was mentioned that the Bulls may still be reaching out to Kuminga or interested in him, which I don't know if that's a bluff coming from Kuminga's agents, but that would be extremely interesting considering we just talked about what seems like a Ford log jam already.
Not trying to hear it, Salim.
I'm not sure.
I would very much not be happy with.
Is that the first big strike for Bryson Graham? If
I would straight up be like, that's a bad sign that he's going to go Kuminga. I'm sorry.
I would agree with Peck here that that's agent bluff nonsense, but that's one of those ones.
I hope so.
Whether it's an agent bluff or true, I noted that because again, you're talking about Kuminga to a team that has Caleb Wilson, Matas Buzelis, Leonard Miller, Noah Stinky. So it's like, what? Is there a big trade coming? Are they packaging a bunch of stuff to get Jalen? What's going on there? So it is very interesting. I don't think Simons will be back just because I do remember seeing, I believe the Celtics and a few other teams were interested in him. So I think, again, the Bulls, to me, my best guess would be that they just do that big offer from Norman Powell, and that's pretty much it because he kind of slots in very nicely as they're starting two. Same problem with Simons where you're not really guarding anybody. But, again, the guys have proven like 7-8 threes a game at 39%. And I think that's what you need to open up the floor for Swain and Wilson and those guys. So, Peck brings up a very good point.
Hey, I like Kuminga. I'm a Kuminga guy. It just doesn't make sense with the current forward rotation, in my opinion. Like that's like if we were here last year, absolutely. But
I mean, I can see a world where it makes sense because what did Randy Macho Man Savage say? The cream rises to the top or whatever the hell. Like the best guys are going to be the best guys, and maybe at the end of the day, Kuminga, Wilson, Buzelis is just the top three, and everybody else just isn't there. But it's one of those things where I am very interested to see what Bryson does. For right now, if I had to give Bryson a grade, he hasn't really done much. I think it's tougher to give him anything below like an A- or a B+. He's made the obvious picks. He took a nice little swing. And free agency so far, he got a decent defensive center for free, essentially. So we'll see where he goes for now. But right now, I'm feeling pretty good about Bryson Graham. And as I always say, it's all fun and games with the Bulls until they start doing stuff. And so far, they haven't done a ton. So I'm feeling good right now.
That's a fact. So Salim does have to hop off in like 3 minutes here. And I know, Mike, you got to hop off too. So like I said, we're going to come back with Salim hopefully in a couple weeks here. But just before you go, Salim, did you have any closing thoughts or anything that you want to say before you hop out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we see some good stuff happening here with free agency. You see kind of this roster fill out. that's it. I mean, I'm looking for the summer league. That summer league team should be fun. Again, you got obviously Caleb Wilson, Swain. Noah will be on there.
Hopefully,
the two-way players that they picked up will be on there. I think they added a bunch of other undrafted rookies, like these different Exhibit 10 deals and things like that. That are all these weird deals that exist in the CBA. So it should be fun. Maybe we see another Wendy's or a Chicago Bulls Summer League championship.
A proper one this time.
Shout out Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, he come in and just coach them up and tell them how it's done to get that ring. But yeah, I mean that's what I'm hoping for: a solid, productive free agency, and stay away from Jonathan Kuminga, please.
That's what I was going to ask you, Salim. That somebody had brought up in the Discord the possibility of if we brought Jimmy back, if LeBron goes to the Warriors. I know you'd love that, huh? Jimmy to mentor.
I love Jimmy. My heart would be overjoyed, and I would love it. I have my Jimmy jersey still. He's still my favorite post dynasty player. He's still my favorite player.
He's the best. But I got two pictures of him on my wall right now.
I know Peck knows how much I love Jimmy. Peck knows how much I love Jimmy. But yeah, I don't think that makes sense to bring Jimmy here. In my head, my brain says no. I don't think it makes sense to bring him here.
For sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, Salim, I just wanted to say, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's just been, it's been crazy. Like I've been saying, like everything's been just so surreal lately. Like it's all happening so fast. But like the fact that I'm getting to sit here with you on a podcast, it's just it's full circle, man. So like, yeah, just thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, man, I'm so appreciative of you guys bringing me on. Jordan, you, like I said, you have been a friend for the last so many years. Michael, you as well. Luke, just getting to know you right now, and I'm sure we'll continue to have great interactions. 100%. Yeah.
Young Kurtz is a goon, man. I'm telling Bulls Nation. Yeah, I mean, we got us one with Kurtz.
I am like the old head unk on Bulls podcasting now, so
we need the wisdom, man. We need the wisdom. That's coming from the youth. We need the wisdom.
Yeah, so I think Bulls content creation is in good hands with you guys like you. So yeah, keep doing great work, and we'll have you guys on BullsGold. Ed and I,
definitely.
We're gonna start doing some more consistent recording. Just for the love of the game, that's all we're doing for vibes.
That's what we do it for.
Vibes,
just for the vibes.
We're not trying to be professionals or anything like that. We're not trying to impress anyone.
I do it just to educate the youth. I tell Luke, get over here so I can tell you about somebody named John Salmon's whippersnapper.
Yeah, I just like getting on the mic with my homie Ed and just talking hoops. That's it.
Yeah, John Salmon. No, thanks, Salim. That's what we here for, man. Like that's what I like. I don't view myself as a podcaster, man. Like quite literally, I just find myself blessed that we live in a time where you could just shoot up a live stream from fucking Twitter and just talk to your boys. That's all I think I'm doing every week. I'm just talking to my boys, and we have such a cool community and such an expansive, deep community full of so many good people, different creators. But just like so many people in the fan base that love to talk ball, man, and it's just it's a blessing. Getting
I was just gonna say it is a blessing, truly a blessing.
You know what I mean?
Bulls fans care so much that we're allowed to do
so
stuff
much,
like this, man. Literally,
so much.
There's like a billion Bulls podcasts, and all Bulls fans listen to every single one of them. There's a ton of people that listen to like a bunch of Bulls podcasts.
Yeah,
it's crazy. That's
amazing.
The dedication is crazy.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Salim. Like I said, well, I guess we'll see you on BullsGold, and we'll definitely see you back here, hopefully in a couple weeks. But yeah, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, Salim.
Guys.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for hopping on, man.
Sure.
You too, for sure.
Thanks, Salim. All right, boys. So, yeah, let me see. Let's put this up. Mike, you got a dip soon too, right?
Yeah, I was gonna be able to head out of here, but yeah, I just wanted to say that definitely a really good episode with Salim. And before I get out of here, I'm glad we didn't have any crazy like Josh Giddey trade or something pop off while we were sort of chatting here. But I just want to address.
Would have been fun.
Well, there's still time, but addressing a couple things in the chat. John Collins, I've seen mentioned by multiple people, kind of the same idea as Norm Powell, where good veteran, good scorer, can space the floor. I would love it a little bit less because he technically adds to the forward jam. But Collins can play some small ball five. So, I mean, it's interesting. But I think with him and Norm Powell, it's kind of a one or the other situation. So I wouldn't expect John Collins. I think Norm Powell's interesting. A guy like Quentin Grimes was mentioned in the chat. Excellent option. I just don't think he's really going to want to come to Chicago just because I would assume he's going to have a lot of contenders.
I hope he does, dude. Quentin Grimes would be so good here.
Grimes,
I don't think he want to come here. He might go to a contender, though. Is that what you just said, Mike?
I was thinking just the teams that were contending would be willing to give him a decent.
They should.
But with that, though, like he was in Philly. He balled out for the last half of that year, not this previous season, but the season before. And then they brought him back on the qualifying offer because he couldn't get anything else. Like, I kind of feel like, and then he's coming off the bench for VJ. Like, that dude wants a chance. He wants a chance to play.
No better place than here for that dude.
That's a resurgence.
He's starting too. It is. Yeah, it is opportunity.
Off the rip.
He might like that. He might like
just
that.
like Claxton. He can come, like you just said, like you reinvigorate him. Good point, Kurtz. Dude, I hope he's watching this.
Article on that back in the day.
Let's get grimy, man. It's grimy season. Quentin, come on, man. They doubt you out here. Philly said they don't need you. Bryce will be nasty.
Oh, Sensabaugh would be great.
Buckeye legend, Bryce Sensabaugh.
Overall, I've just kind of liked what everything that Bryson has done besides the second round pick thing. But it's one of those things where kind of like Salim mentioned, if you could give him truth serum and find the answer, it would be great because I truly think he didn't like any of the second round talents. And that's why, like he said, he swapped them for second rounders in another draft where maybe he likes some guys down the line. Whether or not that's true, it's tough to know. What if Bronny James ends up on the Bulls? I did jump today.
Bronny James, man. Bronny James.
LeBron on the Bulls. LeBron should just do it just for the hell of it. But overall, I like Bryson, everything he's done. I think all I would be concerned with is floor spaces. Like if the guy can knock down the three, I want him on the court because everything should just be about Mata, Swain, and Buzelis.
Mike is going to be in hell next year with our lack of 3-point shooting. This man's going to
be tough, man. But the thing is, I love free throw attempts. So if these kids are going to throw their body at the rim, man, and just do some unethical hooping and get to that line, I'm okay with it. But it's going to
be super ethical.
Hey, if we're not getting
some guys spacing the floor, so
if we're not getting free throws or threes, Mike's gonna go join the Hornets fan base. It's gonna happen. I'm book it.
I will be tuned into Hornets ball, just like I'm a Duke fan, but I unfortunately will be tuned into some Kentucky ball once they got Mom Solovic and their coach said he's gonna take 10 threes a game. I said, talk to me nice, please. Like more things I'd like to hear. 10 threes a game. I will be watching Kentucky basketball this year, but
I can't wait for Summer League, dude. Cam Boozer, Caleb versus Cam and Darren and AJ. Jesus Christ!
And actually, I will actually get out of here because I could go on hours about this. But the Bulls Summer League team is going to be insane in terms of excitement. Like it should be the most dunks of any team.
We need Noah to play though. Is Noah officially playing? I know he's got the shoulder thing, so
I'm not sure if he's officially playing, but he has to just to get his get back. Because if Johnny Furphy's playing, he needs to be in there. If Johnny Furphy's not playing,
I feel that you got to get your get back.
I need him to. I need the Pacers on the schedule, and I need that first game where he sees Furphy check him through the third damn row. Like
if he goes to Yams on Cam Boozer, all is forgiven.
So Summer League, I think we're really going to get to see these guys playing. I'm honestly most excited for Swain, just because I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. Like I think based off of how good he is at ball handling at his size, the 3-point shot is certainly the ceiling thing. I'm not sure if he needs it, if he's actually going to be an initiator with the ball in his hands. So I'm very interested to see Swain running some pick and rolls.
Swain's going to lead the team in scoring in the Summer League. That's my bold prediction. I think he's going to lead the Summer League team in points.
Talk that talk. We'll have an episode before Summer League for sure.
I think this isn't my prediction, but my even bolder prediction is that Giddey eventually will get traded because I do think there's a world where they see Swain as like a big point guard and you don't really have a point guard, so to speak. You just got a lot of big guys out there.
Bryson did say that in his introductory presser. He said when you watch the Celtics, who's their point guard?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think if you got Swain being maximized with the ball in his hands, he might be interesting if he really balls out.
I think you'd like another guard too that can kind of movement shoot off ball a little better than Giddey can playing next to these guys. So that's
then also I think Graham's whole thing is going to be building a team that's great at defense throughout the lineup. One of the easiest ways to turn the Bulls into a very interesting defensive team is you take Giddey out at the 1 and you're putting 6'7" Dalen Swain at the 1. And then at that point, you're talking about Wilson, Buzelis, Claxton. Really, you could put me at the 2. At that point, you probably got enough defense to cover everybody.
And Mike will be your shooter. He'll hit the threes for you.
And I got some good length, man. I got a good wingspan. But
you might be a slap guy. Who knows?
Little undersized. I might be a little Rob Dillingham in the weight.
Oh, fuck. Imagine seeing Mike out there getting buckets. Mama, who's that? Mama, there goes that man. Yeah, out there fucking shit up.
But man, yeah, I just like the fact that like offensively it's gonna be rough next year, but based off of everything they have like on the roster right now, especially when you just go to ESPN sorted by height, it's hard to see the Bulls being like a very below average defensive team next year. I think it'll be an average defense because even if these kids don't know what they're doing, they're all big as hell and athletic, and that's how you build a defense in the modern NBA. So I'm excited, man. I'm giving Bryson Graham benefit of the doubt right now.
And we as Bulls fans crave mediocrity, as we all know. We crave mediocrity, man.
15th in defense, here we come.
A competitive defense? Is that what you're saying right now? I mean, who knows?
But yeah, so obviously everybody knows you find me on Twitter at ZenMaster Mike, where I will not shut the hell up about Bulls basketball and maybe some music from time to time. But yeah, guys, enjoy rest of the time here. Don't have too much fun without me. And
we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out
with
together.
you, man.
Yeah, we all getting out of here together, baby. We a unit.
Hey, speaking of Mike's music, one last thing. I love the switch up on the intro music. Got me feeling some
you were feeling it?
Vibes. I kind of love it about that.
Yeah. We were chilling tonight. I'm glad you guys like it, man. But yeah, thank you guys so much, Chet, for coming through. This was nice, man. It was nice talking to the boys. Oh, damn. Sorry, Shaw. Just got here. But we'll see you back in the Discord, man. But thanks for coming through regardless. Abe, thank you for coming through. We always love to see you, OG. B-Dog, you show up every week. Thank you for coming through, man. Shout out to Peck, Sonny. Sonny came through. Just shout out to all you guys. I can't go through them all. I don't want to have these guys sitting here any longer. But thank you guys so much. Nation. That part. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Much love.
Peace.
Much love, guys.